Welcome to the Bougie Black Brother Network. Good evening and welcome to Repo, Rethink Politics, where we get together and talk about the issues of the day in a type of mind state. Now, we got my two co-hosts, CJ, aka Young Donald. I thought the Young Donald was goddamn Young E, but it's fuck CJ. What's going on, yo?
Yo, I was just inspired by Kanye West. We seen the antics. Apparently, slavery was a choice. So Native American genocide. He just chose that. Women's suffrage. Women just chose not to vote. So hey,
it was all there. Everything's a choice around this bitch. So yeah,
he likes Donald. So that's what it is.
Young Donald. Yeah, cool. And all the co-hosts, E. What's going on, brother?
Yo, man, speaking of Kanye, so what we need to do is go ahead and trade Kanye for, what's her name, Michelle Wolf?
Yep, from the White House
Correspondence Dinner.
So, she's white?
Have a draft.
Yeah, the black draft. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
But she's a white girl?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'll take her.
Yeah, comedian.
Roasted the whole administration,
and then they asked for an apology and shit. So
she said, "Man, fuck
showed up. That's the problem." Fuck, you showed up.
We got it. I have a lot to say about that, so I'll wait till we get to that point.
No, so this is the comedic portion of the show. So let's ride into that. So
okay, I want to just jump in because I was very. So there's two sides to it. The one side is people express outrage from politicians, the White House, obviously. Mm-hmm. Trump says the White House correspondent dinner should be canceled at this point. And then I watched some CNN coverage, and it was like, this should go too far, blah, blah, blah. And it was just like, are you serious? And then people were saying, this is not funny, this is that funny. And the number one thing I kept thinking was, why isn't CNN acknowledging the fact that when Obama went, when every president goes, they have the ability to talk shit themselves. Like they're not like right. Trump is being a victim. He's saying fake this, fake that, but he has the ability to talk. He has the power of speech during the White House Correspondence Dinner to push back to what he feels is bullshit, but he didn't.
But he can't.
What do you mean he can't?
Because he's doing it real time. So for him to show up, it'll sound the same. So why would you show up to say what's wrong and then be like, yeah, we heard that shit before and we know you lying. So now you look more fucking ridiculous. And he don't want to look more ridiculous than he really is, or he's oblivious of what he looks like because he really doesn't care.
But somebody's got a rebuttal though, right? I mean, that's the whole point. Like, so like Obama, forget Obama, just in the past period for however many years they've been having the dinner, the president's role is the president gets roasted, obviously, but he can respond, with writers and comedians and whoever that can easily could have just destroyed her back. You know what I mean? If he wanted to, it probably wouldn't have been as good.
But I'm saying he's not so defenseless. It wasn't this whole thing of, oh my God, how can she say that? Or I think the number one thing I just felt annoyed by it because, why are people when did people become so sensitive? Like, that was such a pussy move, just to...
It's the media, man. Yeah. I'm trying to tell you, man. It's the problem is it's not even... the Republicans didn't like it, obviously, because they in their feelings, because they got destroyed, you know what I mean? They got roasted. But then you got the media. No, but
she roasted Democrats, though. No, she roasted Democrats, too.
Yeah, I know. But that's where the media is fucking up. They don't know how to respond to it. Because they got roasted, too. So then they're all like, oh, well, then she went too far. And it's like, what are you talking about? Like this is what we do. We do this all the time. But I guess it felt, maybe it was too heavy-handed and there was no response. So then it seems worse than it really was.
Yeah, because you didn't get it.
Okay. It could have came back.
Let's do a quick excerpt. Hey, don't knock abortion until you try it. But when you do try it, actually knock it because you want to get that out of there.
Damn.
Okay. So
Okay.
So I'm kind of like, so how do you, so is that too, it's on one hand it's free speech, another hand, like who, in terms of outrage, do people have a right to feel outraged? How do you express that outrage? Is it political? Is it not political?
So
like,
so I'm gonna go with they do have the right to be outraged. I mean, there was a big segment on I think Bill Maher about this one professor was saying, you have the right to be outraged, but it's free speech. And I have the right to criticize. So it's not a problem. But when he didn't like something, he said, hey, you'll need to be a little more compassionate to the Trump voters because, what you're doing is making them more distant. And they was like, wait, motherfucker, you just said you can say what you want, but when you don't hear anything you like, this is the problem when you interpret free speech for whoever you want.
Right.
We have the right to say, look, I'm not going to buy these sponsors' product. I got a right to do that. You can't make me do. That's my right. You can't tell me I shouldn't do that.
Right.
It's just that's free speech. So to me, when you say certain things go too far, you got comedians that stretch the boundaries, which I respect. I may be uncomfortable about it, but like the professor said, when you have an uncomfortable conversation, that really strikes really substantive things that you have to talk about. But if you're not, you're just hearing what you want to hear.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole party. That's the whole Republican Party, the whole Trump White House. They don't like to hear anything that goes against what they believe, and then, I mean, I don't really understand that way of thinking that, that free thinking where they just feel like they could say whatever they want or believe whatever they want. And then when people come back at them with facts or just their own opinion, they feel like they're being, attacked. And it's just,
There's a word for that. You know that, right?
Not even hypocrite.
No, it's a longer word. It's called white supremacy.
Ooh.
Kanye West.
That's clear.
Is he part of that now?
I'm just saying. No, but he's playing into it.
2 words. Easy.
So the thing is, I'm entitled to say what I want, and you can't say anything more. Once you say anything against me, how dare you?
Entitlement. That's what I would
Entitlement. Yeah.
Man, I felt so annoyed because the Obama years. He's a Muslim. He's this.
Yeah.
He's
not
destroying the country. A socialist.
He's a socialist. A black Hitler.
It was just kind of like, no, at the State of the Union, you lie. He just yells that out.
That pissed me off so much.
So the fact that and I like the fact that she's a woman. She's breaking balls, everybody's balls.
From the Daily Show, by the way.
Yeah, from the Daily Show.
Okay.
And it's just kind of so just real quick. Did you guys think? The Sarah Huckerbee Sanders bit? I didn't think it was that bad.
Well, I think it was bad because how she looked and really, you saw how like this is some bullshit. How dare they? Yeah, very uncomfortable. She couldn't even hold it back. Like I don't even know what to say or look like, but it was written all over her. So it wasn't what was being said. It's just the reaction that you saw that made it worse. Because if she was laughing or smiling, I think they would have brushed it over and said, yep, she comes up there and lie all the time. So we already know that.
Yeah. I probably would have liked her, actually, if she laughed. You know what I mean? Just like Sarah Huckabee, if she was just like, like smiling, looking at the camera, like, pointing at her, like, yeah. Then it would have been like, wait a minute. Because they say behind the scenes, like, she's actually like real lively and funny and, and so, I don't know. But if she had just went along with it and was like, you know what, fuck it. Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't matter. She don't need
I don't think so. I don't think so. But yeah. So I really thought it was the camera showing her reaction more so than what was being said.
I mean, it was cringeworthy though. I mean, it felt like like them rap battles where it's that one track, it's that one Nas is going in. I mean, not to compare Nas to fucking Joe Wolf or whatever, but it was just line after line, bar after bar, like boom, like and
everybody's
like,
ooh,
yeah.
And she was the last one. She was the last one.
Right. And then you're like, okay, all right, this is when Trump's supposed to come in and be like, boom, like, hit him back. And then it's like, okay, that was kind of weak, but at least
he came back with something.
But he wasn't even there.
But he
couldn't help his
refused
team.
to. His refusal said
because he's scared.
I think he is scared, but he's kind of putting it out there like, I'm not going to give them the time of day. But it's kind of more like, I don't want to be attacked because how dare you talk to me that way?
Well, what if, because you...
I think it's both.
So Sarah Huckerbee Sanders is who she is. But could you imagine Trump's reaction to that shit? Like Comedy Central's The Roast of Donald Trump is one thing because it's all jokes, it's all in jest. But this shit is I can't believe I still can't believe I'm saying he's president, but he's president. So it's kind of like Comedy Central. It's a Comedy Central roast, but for real. You know, like
well, he got roasted before. Remember that? Like,
was that
Obama?
Was that Comedy Central or during the correspondence thing?
That was
that was the correspondence dinner.
But he wasn't an elected official. Now people can go in based on like real tangible
policy shit.
Yeah. Right, but what I'm saying is like that's what he's feeling. He doesn't want to go through that again because they went at him and then he had nothing because he was just sitting in the crowd. Not even it was Obama himself. It was just like I don't even remember what the line was. The quote,
he was saying shit. He was saying shit like I got my birth certificate, and he was saying all types of shit like you full of shit, motherfucker. And I'm calling your ass out.
Let me give you a line. He was like, Don. He said something. I forget how he set it up, but he was like, Donald fired Gary Busey in The Celebrity Apprentice. Those decisions would keep me up at night or some shit like that. And it was just like, okay, like it was one of those things. It was just like, nigga, all you done is Celebrity Apprentice, and you talking shit.
You talking this bullshit. Yeah, but now he's the president. So. Ain't that some shit? So.
You that a bitch? But being black is tough. It's hard to keep it real.
Was that the same year? What's his name? Said the N-word?
Oh yeah. That's when he lost his fucking show and shit.
No, that was the last year. That was the final one. He said, "Fuck it, you're not president no more. I got no show."
Oh, you're
right. And he was like, "Yeah, that's my nigga." Yeah. Obama looked at him like, "Come on, really, dude? God damn."
Wait, I hear. All right, so he said, "I'm a little hurt he's not here tonight. We had so much fun the last time. And it's surprising you have a room full of reporters, celebrities, cameras." And he says no. Oh, shoot.
Damn. I'm gonna need you to get some time.
Yeah, and he says, here we go. You tell I'm not a public speaker right now.
Yeah, I see that.
Computer's loaded. He says no, and this dinner is too tacky for the Donald. What could he be possibly doing instead? Eating a Trump steak? Tweeting out insults to Angela Merkel. What's he doing?
Damn.
Okay, yeah, these are a bunch of quotes. I'm looking at CNN. They got quotes all over the place. They got a video. But anyway, he basically went after the Trump University, the Trump State, and then mentioned the birth certificate. And then a little after that, that's when he dropped the mic. But anyway, they said that's kind of where Trump ended up, like, that's where it hit him. He was like, man, fuck this, I'm going to run. And then show him or some shit like that, because that's what
entitlement.
White entitled men do.
So moving from that, which is like really fucking crazy, but so I kind of mentioned to y'all earlier about the accomplishments and the positive accomplishments of Trump, and kind of cringed and be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" But the ones that he's really going to take credit for, that can be debated. It's not like 100% on one end or the other, but it can be debated. China did all the heavy lifting for the North and South Korean, but if he didn't get aggressive with them, they're going to say because of his aggressive nature of saying, you better do something, he brought all this together to form a united North Korea. Second, we've been talking about taxes and everything for years after years, and no one had the balls to do anything with it. But yet, this may not be 100% the best thing to do, but he actually did it. Like Obama did healthcare. Wasn't the best healthcare option, but at least we had something. So he's going to ride those two things, and history will say, especially if the North Korea and South Korea thing really goes through properly, he's going to take credit for those actual two things, because even the will either get better or will be reformed again in one way or another. So opinion-wise, I really, it bothered me because I was kind of debating it with a person, and I was like, I can't not debate you. But, you know, of the thousands of fucked up things he did, yeah, these are the two things that we'll see up front. And I can't argue with that. So there was a lot of positive things that occur. Long term, will it really do anything? We don't know that. And I was like, well, long term, he said, but do you really know that? This is something that you don't even you can't tell me that this is going to be. So, I was like, no, I can't.
How the fuck does he know?
Because it's already here and it's already showing some positive things. So you can only live off, hey, when you trade, go back to the NBA, you trade for this fucking, what's his name that was on the Knicks? I think he's on Miami now, but he used to be on Chicago.
Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose. Fucking yeah. But you don't know if he's going to, he's one of the best players. This dude's going to get hurt. You don't know that. This motherfucker always get up, but you don't know that. How do you know? Yeah. Oh, shit.
Did he make you better, though? That's the question.
He can make you better, though.
No, we got rid of it because we had that option. But we don't have that option now because we're stuck with him for 10 years. That's the difference. We couldn't get rid of him. I mean, that's the difference with that one.
Okay, so we can't get rid of this guy. But we don't know going forward what that could be. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so analogy, and tell me if I'm off base. I mean, well, should we give Hitler a prize because he by attacking everybody he unified the Allies?
No, he killed Jews.
No, what I'm saying is by saying someone is being aggressive and talking shit,
you poked them.
Yeah, by poking people, it's like, oh wow. So I mean, do we credit Hitler with the modern Western Hemisphere?
Hitler killed people.
So Trump is just rhetoric, so it's different.
Yeah. He didn't kill anybody yet.
So, all right, here. Okay, you could make the argument that Trump actually was just noise in the background, right? Because North Korea was already shooting off missiles. They were already testing. They were doing that with Obama. They were doing that with Bush. They were doing that with Trump. Even more with Trump because they didn't really respect Trump. They were just shooting off more missiles. And then my argument on top of that is South Korea really is the one that has been initiating all the talks. Now, I mean, unless Trump was to go out up front and say we were talking to South Korea, getting them to talk to North Korea, then okay, we have a conversation. But he fired his Secretary of State, which is in charge of those negotiations. So I don't really understand where he comes in any of this. So if he's poking him on Twitter, which is weak for a president, you can't really say that you're actually poking him on Twitter or social media. You can't say he hasn't really had a press conference in the longest. Those conversations that he has, or whatever, those joint press discussions with foreign leaders, that doesn't count. I'm talking like a sit down, it's me at the podium, ask me questions. He hasn't had that in over a year. So he's not sending any messages to North Korea other than like half-ass, we'll send fire and fury bullshit, but then they shoot off another missile, test missile. So I don't really see. And then let me fast forward because then the discussion changes because their fucking nuclear facility imploded. That was confirmed by China.
Right.
So, I mean, goddamn, they just threw up the white flag. You can't rebuild that shit like overnight. So they might even come back and do that shit again. So, I mean, I don't see where Trump comes in other than, okay, fine, he poked the bear or whatever you want to call North Korea. But I don't think he initiated a solution. He didn't start anything other than he might have, if anything, you could say, okay, South Korea was like, okay. Shut the fuck up, I got this. And then said, Trump, get out the way. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't, Trump might have been the Hitler like Chaz is saying.
Right.
And North Korea is just like, trying to make some noise because they don't have a voice. And South Korea is trying to help them out.
So, guys, I'm going to be the conservative.
Tell your conservative friend that.
No, I'm going to be the conservative in this conversation. So I'm going to be the devil's advocate because I think I can agree with you, but I have to be that person.
Okay, conservative. Let's talk about taxing.
So no. Let's stick with
Korea?
North Korea.
Okay.
So what you fail to understand is you don't know what's going on. So as a president, I already initiated. I had people doing all of this. So what you seeing is where your opinion is. Your opinion means nothing just because you may have read a tweet. My tweet is a supplement of everything else that I was doing.
Okay, Mr. Conservative. So what about Russia?
So Russia has nothing to do with the North Korean conflict that I have right now got a solution and help this go toward that. I had conversations. My State Department has had conversation, and you can see the success that we have because of what I initiated.
So that's why Syria. That's why Syria is doing what they want to do, and that's why Russia is doing what they want to do.
So our next phase is getting out of the Iranian situation and the agreement, because I'm not going to deal with this because they allowed Syria to do as they are. So now that's my next phase that's going forward there. See, you're ignoring and you're deflecting on another subject when you not acknowledging the success of what we have done already.
I don't think it's success. I think it's serendipity. I think it's just the timing worked out and other players came to the table.
So I brought these players to
the United States wasn't involved.
I brought these players. They were sitting on the outside with Obama. See, you hear praising Obama for what he's done, but look at what I did bringing all of these other parties to the table in order for it to be successful.
Mr. Conservative, all right. So how did you bring how were you involved? How did you bring people to the table? How did you bring South Korea? Because they're the ones solving this issue. How did you bring them to the table? Go.
So you still thinking that they did it on their own. So what you're not seeing is what we as a administration went over with our State Department to put pressure even on South Korea. Prior to the firing, I'm not going to argue with my firing because he didn't finish what I needed for him to get done. So that's why they're doing things outside of what I would like to be done. But we put the pressure on South Korea. That's what y'all don't see, that South Korea was forced to have these kind of conversations, except for standing on the sidelines.
Because of their life, that like they could die because of war. Well, you scared them to death. You literally scared them to death.
You had these years of war. The Korean War has never ended. But now, except for standing on the outside saying we're going to continue the Korean War, I forced them. I forced them to say reconcile this because you're standing on the outside.
The white man saved the world again. I got you.
So Mr. Conservative, I think all you really did was create stronger relationships between Korea and China, therefore strengthening China's position as a global player.
So they can be a global player, but we need to worry about America. See, the thing is, you're reaching out to say how well China is doing. Don't worry about them. We have sanctions and everything that we're doing. That is another thing that our nation is going forward to. You're still thinking about that.
Okay. So in other words, when there's another conflict, countries can kind of take care of them themselves.
Well,
don't need America.
They should be worried about their own ass. Like we're worrying about ours. We shouldn't be involved in that. We have military around the world, but we're going to make sure they understand. We show up, we're the power of the world.
So then why don't we leave Syria?
Well,
get out of there. What are we doing?
Our plans in Syria is really to ensure that Iran isn't involved because they are nuclear power and they're not listening to us. And we're going to make sure they know.
Well, are we not listening? Okay, so let's talk about the deal, the Iranian nuclear deal. How do you think Iranian leadership would feel if the United States wanted to break the deal? How would they respond?
So they won't respond because they know they're dealing with the United States. Once they know who they're dealing with, and I am not Obama. Obama was weak in his position, and you see why they're doing what they're doing right now. This will not be tolerated.
They're still doing a nuclear shit behind the scenes?
Yes,
Is that what?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
So whether you think so or not, even though I have no evidence that it is happening, you know that they're doing that. You know that they're doing that.
Right. I don't know, but okay. I got it. Yeah.
So this is where the argument that I go through, but I attack them on all of this is speculation on your part. So I can be patient. When I'm patient with you and things come out, that's when you backing away. So all of these attacks that you're saying that's going on in Korea, and I always go back to him and say, you know what? He's still getting out of power because no one is there. You got a new State Department that probably circled about 2 or 3 times. So you have inconsistency and you have no evidence that anything is going right. I'm sorry going on, but there's no evidence.
I think I feel stronger about stronger about the tax argument because Reagan, Reagan's tax cuts, did they or did they not? I mean, I feel like we have economic evidence to trace corporate behavior and then just ultimately leading to recession and just corporate greed. I feel like that's documented.
So I have no argument with that. So I'm pulling back from being a conservative on that.
Okay. Okay.
I just kind of like that.
But it's so ignorant though, man. Even while I was saying it, I was like, this is just bullshit. This is the bullshit that I hear. And I'm kind of like, man, I should just choke you for just saying stupid shit like that.
Choke you out.
Yeah, big time. But no. But Chaz, you're right. With the economic turn, you just gave these guys
it was
millions
Reagan
of
tax
dollars.
Cuts. It was the Bush tax cuts.
So Reagan raised the fucking taxes to say, yo, y'all getting over. So I need to start doing that. He did it. Reagan did that, but they don't want to talk about that. Reagan did.
Was it Bush? Who lowered the tax cuts in the 80s?
Bush lowered it, but Reagan raised it. Reagan raised the tax on the rich and the fucking corporations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Reagan did that. If you go back and look at that, because I was like, wait a minute, Reagan didn't do that shit. And then when I started looking at the data, Reagan absolutely did that. But then they was reversing during that Bush administration time. And even Clinton couldn't do anything much with it because he had a Republican Congress.
Right.
So with this is what the companies did, which is really, it's good and it's bad. What the companies did, it was like, since they hooked us up, I'm going to hook you up this year. I'm going to give out bonuses. I'm going to change what we're going to bring back some people. And all they're doing is talking. That money that they got, that's a lot more money than what they gave out. All of it stays there. And that's what people don't understand.
I
just, so for that argument, well, for one, I think time has to tell. Like, for example, Apple did $100 billion stock buyback. So if you're a shareholder, you're like, oh, great. So, that increases the value. However, to me, I think the argument for lower tax cuts is job creation and everything. So if you have a fund, if you own a lot of stock, basically a certain percentage of people are gonna really benefit from that stock buyback. You can make the argument if you have a retirement fund and you have Apple in it, then you're gonna benefit. But otherwise, what about the jobs? What about research and development? Apple is, of course, very cash rich, so they're an anomaly. But I'm saying, where's the investment and where's the job creation? Because I'm on LinkedIn every day, and sometimes I see people who struggle, getting jobs still. So I'm kind of like, where's the benefit downstream?
Right, the trickle down effect that the Republicans echo. Yeah,
man, the trickle down effect is just shit. All this Me Too shit. Some motherfucker just whip his dick out and piss on you or something. Like, take that.
Yeah.
Fucking Sean Puffy Combs on that ass.
Take that. Yeah, yeah.
Take that.
Puffy mixed with fucking Weinstein. Yeah.
The remix. Yeah,
so the problem with the tax thing that Trump is doing or the Republicans are doing is it's going to take so long to even have any kind of evidence to see if if it's even good. You know, like it should be good up front, but I don't like. No one's feeling it right now. It's not like emotionally. I'm talking like actual, like financially. Like you're not really seeing any gains right now. It's just kind of like, what was the point of it if you're not changing anything right away? That's the way I feel about this whole tax thing. And that's why I think the Democrats weren't for it, because it's like, what's the positive out of it? If you're gonna do this, let's get some.
But it was a marketing ploy.
Impact.
I mean, it was a great marketing ploy for the uneducated. You were told you're getting more money back on your check. Yeah, I got a little more back. Not worth a damn. I put that directly on my fucking 401k, but not enough to say substantially it's doing something. So imagine the person who's only making $300 a week. They get $30 more or $20 more. Guess what? They can put gas in their car now. And then you got the corporations telling everybody, oh, based on this cash that we have, we're going to make more jobs. So people are like, oh, fantastic, it works. But when you don't see the jobs materializing right away, but the media is saying, hey, guess what? Google is building another. These plans was 2 years ago. These ain't new jobs, but people relate it to what's going on. So it's a freaking great marketing ploy. And then, like you said, when we start seeing, did it do anything? We're going to realize it only benefited the rich.
But okay, I want to make this point real quick.
Go ahead.
This is just government spending. I've been reading about this. In terms of China does it a lot. China has a centrally controlled economy. They introduced a lot of stimulus. So here in the United States, we have some of that too. But if we don't get the deficit under control, what's going to happen is, as we have, health programs, that's for those who don't really, not how many people really pay attention to the government budget. It's not that sexy, but whatever. But the federal budget has, defense spending, infrastructure, things like that. And in order for the government to run, it needs money. And of course, in the past, the debt ceiling has been raised, money has been borrowed, et cetera, et cetera. And like anything, the more you borrow without paying it down, the more that's just going to keep up more of your interest. So more of the pie basically is going to be interest. So like if you have a credit card and you keep, you do the minimum payment, more over time, the principal is just going to keep growing because you're not paying it down. And basically you're just going to be paying interest instead of the principal. So I think something to really keep in mind is this fucking tax thing really gonna, what's the legacy gonna be in terms of the deficit? I'm really curious to see stimulus versus deficit.
But the Republicans always talk about the deficit when a Democrat is in.
They're silent, but that's where Democrats are dumb. They should be talking about it, but they're dicks. They're dickhead ass. Weak.
So, and we say it almost every other week, but I just don't feel confident with the fucking Democrats.
I got an update. I donated for the first time.
Hey, congratulations.
Locally. So.
Locally.
Bruh, Obama both times. You crazy? You're crazy? Nah. So locally, I got invited to an event. I was able to shake the mayor of Atlanta's hand. I didn't really ask her about the whole cabinet thing.
Firing and fucking people.
Yeah, I kept it friendly.
Yeah.
She was just basically, hey, to support a progressive candidate. So locally, I'm basically finding out, in order to get involved, to get on the mailing list, you donate, and then you get all the fucking emails after that. Because I'm like, how do I meet the people? And that's how.
Donate.
Donate.
They said, so if you financially vested, then they'll say, okay, we'll get you involved.
Yeah, you're in the mailing list, so you're gonna know about the events and all that shit. Otherwise, they don't give a fuck.
No, you don't give a fuck. So they not gonna give a fuck about you.
So that sounds like a relationship.
It's more than just it's just more than just your vote. They need your money as well. So you can be a really handsome, nice guy, but if you're not fucking putting out what's needed financially or whatever, dude, I ain't got time for
dating.
you.
Yeah,
have to find somebody
just like
else.
dating.
It's just the same way. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, by the way, that I looked up the CBO score for Trump's tax plan, and it's saying that the deficits over the course of 10 years would be a 17.5%
17%?
increase.
Damn.
17%, which is just over $2 trillion over the course of 10 years. So that's the CBO score, which is a bunch of career folks, not a bunch of Republicans, not a bunch of Democrats. These are just
but wait, so the question is, will the tax cuts stimulate enough dollars have to flow to the economy so the IRS can tax it and bring it into the government to offset that $2 trillion? Can it happen? Maybe. Do I think so? I doubt it.
I don't know, man. And the thing is, we live in a nation that's fast food based. So everything is about, give me something now. I'm not worrying about in 2 years. I'm not worried about in 3 years. They're not even worrying about the election yet. That's how fucked up our nation is, because we're dealing with everything that's happening right now.
No.
Go ahead.
I think James Comey, that James Comey book tour, I think he's.
You think so?
Like what I see. Go ahead.
You think he's trying to run?
No, I don't think he's trying to run, but I think he stands for how a lot of people feel. A lot of
James
Hank
Comey.
Hill motherfuckers, like, just middle America, like, man, this isn't right. I'm a Republican, but this is just wrong.
I don't know, man. I got a feeling about him. I feel like he has an ego, dog. I think he's got the right mind where he's like, he wants to oust Trump and
he's got
all the shit behind the scenes. Yeah, I think he's got an ego though. You know what I mean? Like it's I know a lot of shit, and I'm gonna tell y'all because I'm James Comey.
Okay, but does he? So you think it's more ego than him standing for a typical Republican his age from a metropolitan area?
I think it's both. Yeah, I think because of his beliefs, being a Republican. I'm not talking Trump Republican. I'm talking Bush
like
Republican.
conservative budget.
Yeah, just a conservative is probably what we should say. Yeah, like he's killing those values that the conservatives live on. That they believe, and telling the truth, not actually going by the law and doing things the right way. I mean, because he was against Obama on a few things too. So, but it's just like Trump is times 10. Like it's just. So he's like, I got stories to tell. I got memos to put out. Put me on 60 Minutes. And it's just, I think he's got an ego, bro. Like I'm not against Comey. I don't like hate him, but I think what he's doing, to me, it seems obvious. I think he's trying to get some money. He's trying to open up because look, I'm Comey and I got an ego, fuck Hillary.
So I don't even think it's the money, man. I think you're right. I think his ego is to tell people I'm smarter than everyone.
Yeah.
I've been running this shit for years.
Right.
Now I'm going to let y'all know, and y'all need to respect my opinion. Y'all need to respect what I'm giving out, and I'm going to let you know. People around me are so fucking stupid.
So he's a flawed messenger, is what you're saying.
Yes. But a messenger in one sense another,
so
which I'll take
if a motherfucker tells you, hey, you got a job, and you know what I'm saying, the motherfucker is fucked up, do you just say, well, fuck you, or okay, I'll take the job. I don't fuck with you though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I guess, man. I mean,
I'm still mad at E. He's like, yo, I say what I gotta say. Fuck Hillary. Like he's a robber. Yo, FBI, bitch, FBI.
Yeah, no, because he's like, I got something to say. So everybody, shut up. Boom. All right, keep going. Keep talking. But you heard
I'm not gonna lie though.
I'm not
gonna lie. When they be asking them questions, I was very concerned when he blah blah blah. Like, bro, I guess it's so unprecedented. Like all this, there's no precedent for this.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah.
So when he was on the town hall, he was like, "Yeah, that's a great question." I can't imagine any president doing blah blah blah. It's like just straight talking shit.
Yeah. I mean, if you listen to Comey's interviews, it's just. They'll even come back and they'll be like, so don't you think looking back that doing that actually affected the election? And then
no,
and then he's just like He's like, at the time, I felt like that was what needed to be done. It needed to be heard, and that's I don't take that back. That's what needed to be. And it's like, hold up, bro. Like, did you get anything from any of this?
And he was like, no, and I don't have to.
Which is crazy. It's so bizarro that Trump will fire the guy who's been perceived, and perception is reality, perceived to help Trump win.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just.
But he doesn't care. Just like Kelly. Now he's mad at Kelly. You know why he's mad at Kelly now, right? Because he called him a fucking idiot. Yeah. And I'm like, but you should already know people are calling you an idiot, dude. What the fuck is going on with that? But but I totally agree with Comey. He is an arrogant, entitled elitist. And he feels that when I show up, I'm the one with the information that you need to talk to me. Because I've been involved in all of this. I know the secrets. I know where the bodies are. But I don't have to tell you things because I'm privy to these information. So you need to listen.
Nah, that's not what he said. He's like, hey, James Comey, what about blah, blah, blah? Chapter 6 of my book. I think you'll enjoy it. It's like, God damn.
Want to read your shit? Get the fuck out of here.
No, and actually, I want to read it. I think there might be some. I still haven't read Bush's 43.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you know,
what about,
Bush.
What about Hillary's? You're not gonna read Hillary's?
No.
So I think women, and people are still upset about that. People feel Hillary is shouldn't be, what's the word, dismissed and told to go away because of whatever. So I think you got a pretty decent amount of Hillary people who think, like, why not read her book? And there's other people. Most people would say, Hillary she's been around. She's just been around. Like, I don't. What else does she have to say that I haven't heard?
Yep.
And it's like, oh well, would you read James Comey's book? He's been around. Blah blah blah. And it's like, well, is that the same?
But he has some impact. He has some impact on both sides. So yes, doing the controversy and shit going down. I think that's something interesting. And
I personally, that's why I like him to a degree, just because that's why I like the correspondence chick. If you can piss off both sides, I think it's easy to piss off one side.
Mm-hmm.
But like Bill Burr, I think his joke was, he went on Conan and he was like, one of the jokes he did was, on one side you got a dope, on the other side you got the devil. And they just pissed off like the Hillary people and the Trump people.
So you make your choice. One of them is a dope and one of them is a devil.
Yeah.
It's your choice.
So Chaz, so you like it when, because I'm actually agreeing with you. I think you like it when that person can make an impact or just make some noise to everyone. Yes. They could just throw a fucking
pull
grenade.
Up skirts for everybody,
and then the whole. But do you want to destroy it, or do you want them to? Do you want to destroy it, or do you want them to wake up?
It depends on what context, because it's different agendas for the Republicans and Democrats. For me, I think the Democrats the Democrats are not fully progressive. It's like this weird. There's Hillary Democrats, like Clinton era people, and then you have Obama forward people, and a lot of Obama people are like, okay, don't want to be Bernie Sanders or Central or this weird, is fractioning. And then Republican people, I want them to wake up just to be like you're supposed to be the value people, especially the evangelicals. If I had to say I'm disappointed in anybody, I would say Christian evangelicals is like, how can you, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like you're still backing this guy?
Yeah. I mean, there's guys like John Kasich that
he doesn't get attention though. The Republicans don't fuck with him like that. It seems like.
I feel like that's a Democratic problem. But then you don't want to be a Democrat trying to pull in a Republican.
Why not?
That's
because
why not?
I know.
Why not?
I know. I'm with
identify allies. Like, look, we can work with this guy. Let's get something done. Yeah. Look, it's all fun and games until
somebody loses an eye.
Until there's a trade war.
Wait a minute. I think we might have just figured something out. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe the problem is that everyone is forced to pick a side. Maybe Democrats actually should be pushing for ideas, and maybe Kasich's ideas actually run parallel with a few Democrats, right? So then, okay, well, forget the rules. Let's just say they do it, right? Like, let's just say that they are pushing like, hey, everybody needs to listen to Kasich because maybe in well, he's only a senator, right? He's not. Oh, he's a governor. Governor of Ohio. Mm-hmm. So maybe when he was running for president, you can't do that, right? But I'm trying to say maybe like Democrats could have won the House or the Senate if they pushed him for president versus. But then you can't not push for Hillary. That's the problem.
Yeah. So let's go right now, though. I think you're going backwards. Let's go now.
I'm being progressive. I'm rethinking politics right now.
Okay. So I want to rethink politics now. So to your point, what we should be thinking about is who has the best thoughts of policy-wise. So if Kasich has the best policy, we should support him based on policy, not under party. And I thought that's where you was going, but you was going back what we should have done. But I'm done with the shoulda shit because a lot of that shit was illegal too, thanks to the Russians. But now we're not grabbing on to anything. I still think we got infighting in the Democratic Party, and they still doesn't have a message that they all are grabbing onto. Because
I don't know what the Democrats are doing though. That's the thing.
That's the problem.
Do you know what's going on? Like, who's at the top? Who's talking right now? What are we fighting for?
So, appreciate y'all all jumping on and good input. We really want to get into the finishing of the teachers, and there's just a lot of policy issues that we really need to jump back on. But any last words, fellas?
I mean, I think what we should start doing is looking at some Democrats. And maybe we should be also focusing on what they're trying to do. So, right now we're talking about what Republicans are doing, what Trump is doing all the time. And I'm just thinking maybe we need to start also bringing in some Democrats and seeing what they're doing because they're not saying a damn thing right now. And I know we could probably save that for another podcast.
Yeah. So I would love to, on our next podcast, bring a candidate. Yeah. So next podcast, bring a candidate. How about that?
Okay.
Because I would love to say, hey, look, who are you looking at?
Hey, let me send an email or two. I might have somebody.
Okay. No, but bring a candidate. And I think that's what we should start it of saying, if we're going to rethink what's going on, what input did you get? Or who did you reach out to and why?
Okay. I like that.
Cool. Chaz, you got anything?
Nope.
Well.
Not at all.
That says it all. Well, I appreciate it, fellas, and thank you so much. And look for us next time on Repo Rethink Politics. Peace.
All right.